History is full of firsts.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Many of those firsts shaped our way of life. For 70 years, KPRC Channel 2 has been proud to be pioneers in shaping television and Houston history.
In a state the size of Texas, I hope everyone can enjoy.
Causing the storms Thursday. Minutes before 9 o'clock, the crew's here telling her.
For the first time, how long they have let it. See the some of your men.
Isn't it good to work for a place that has a sense of history? And indeed it is.
See, taking the president from Spring to College Station following.
If you have something you'd like Channel 2 Investigates to check out, call the tip line at 713-223-TIPS or email investigates@click2houston.com. Live from KPRC, this is Channel 2 News Today.
This morning, coronavirus concerns reach the Houston area. Ahead, we're live with why some staff and students at Rice University have been asked to self-quarantine. Plus, Joe Biden called South Carolina his firewall, and the people of that state have now given his campaign a big boost. Reaction from him, and how that win led to another candidate dropping out. Plus, how about a live look outside our studios at Southwest Houston? Camera, unfortunately, we're not going to get the perfect weather we saw yesterday, but Cambrell says it's still going to be a great day. And, you know, there's some other things that Cambrell wants to talk about and show us this morning.
Right here.
Is that hand
you want some?
sanitizer?
Yeah, absolutely. You want some?
That's quite a lot.
That's all right. There's enough to go around. That's what a lot of us are going to be doing. If you don't have it, you better start getting it, because on a regular basis, we need to do this.
Wash the hands.
This is all a preview.
Sanitizer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is a preview of what's going on with Houston Newsmakers coming up. Never get a shameless plug in for me. Dr. David Pearce talking about coronavirus. We're talking about that this morning. It's important to know. So I sanitize everything. Even when we don't have coronavirus, people know that I'm in. Hey, today's a warm day. Hope you're feeling warm inside, because the temperatures outside are going to make you feel nice and warm. Mid-60s already. Nice shots out there. You look at those temperatures across the board. Winds 11, 12, 10, 15 miles an hour, all from the south or so, close to the south. It's not going to change today. Here's outside the Channel 2 studios here. 67 in Sugar Land. South winds at 10 miles per hour. And you notice what happens throughout the area. Everybody is in the mid to upper 60s already. 68 in Lake Jackson. And we have the consistent wind from the south. That's not going to change. In fact, that's going to increase for the day. We're going to see some gusts even higher. 18, 15 miles an hour. 13 at Hobby Airport. Exact track radar is quiet. Not much going on there. But there is going to be some change happening here. You see these clouds and the cutting seem to cut the state in half there. That is loaded with moisture. This is the water vapor loop. And these lighter colors and these blues, that's a lot of moisture in the upper levels of the atmosphere. That's going to help enhance our rain chances as we go into the week. But today, Futurecast model shows the showers that we expect throughout the day. Here's 12 o'clock or so. Light showers primarily, streamer showers for the most part, but they will be nuisance showers for you today. Temperatures are going to be toward the mid-70s, depending on where you are. If you get a lot more shower activity, you may not get to that point, but that's going to be the trend. We do have some heavy rain chances coming up. I'll talk about that in our 10-day forecast just ahead. Jacob?
All right, Cambrell, now back to the coronavirus and concerns closer to home. Students and staff at Rice University University concerned after the school reported a possible exposure to the virus and asked some employees and students to self-quarantine. Channel 2's Taisha Walker live outside Rice with what the school is saying. Taisha?
Yeah, Jacob, Rice University is doing this out of an abundance of caution. The school posted a statement online last night saying that it asked a small group of employees and students to take part in this self-quarantine for the safety of the entire campus. We know that the coronavirus is something that they're concerned about after an employee traveled overseas to a country that is not on the CDC's restricted travel list. The university says it is taking all necessary precautions and is working closely with the Harris County Public Health Department. Rice University also says that it's not planning to cancel any classes, events, or any of those activities on campus. They are also urging people of the general public who live in the community to also do their part and to be sure to keep washing their hands and just to stay aware of this. Reporting live from Rice University, Taisha Walker, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
All right, Taisha, thank you for the update there. Meantime, Loyola University in Chicago pulling students and staff from its Rome study abroad over growing concerns about the coronavirus. Loyola notified its John Felice Rome Center yesterday and began the process of booking flights back home. The university has the goal to get all 230 students back by March 4th. Other schools have done the same: Florida International, New York University, and Syracuse University, among others. Here's a look at the latest information on the coronavirus. 79,800 cases in China, the most of any country, followed by South Korea with more than 3,700, Japan with 900, and in the U.S. there are 70 cases. On Click to Houston, we've got a whole section dedicated to the coronavirus. You'll find the latest stories from around the world and here in Houston right there at the drop-down menu on the home page. New this morning, police believe a man who was shot was driven by family members a few blocks searching for help before he died outside a gas station in southwest Houston. That man found at Hiram Clark Road and West Airport around 7:30 last night, found on the ground outside of a Mercedes sedan. Investigators say they believe he was shot near West Orem and White Heather Drive. No word yet on what led up to that shooting. Also at the scene of that homicide investigation, a man allegedly driving into several vehicles at the scene at around 10:40 p.m. 4 vehicles were involved, we're told, although the person taken to the hospital was the suspect only. Investigators do believe alcohol played a role in that crash. New information this morning on breaking news we brought you this time yesterday. A new look at a wrong-way crash that killed both drivers in northwest Houston in a crash. This is dash cam footage from a driver who says, as you can see there, the whole accident happening in front of him at 2:30 on 290 near West Tidwell. In that video, you can see the moments a truck crashes into the car, and the driver of that car, we're told, died at the scene, and investigators had to cut the at-fault driver out of his truck. You'll remember he was taken to the hospital and pronounced dead there. A huge win for Joe Biden on Saturday at the South Carolina Democratic primary. The win breathing new life into his campaign, as he hoped, after disappointing results for him in Iowa, New Hampshire, and Nevada. Biden was the dominant winner in South Carolina, getting over 48% of the votes. Frontrunner Bernie Sanders came in second place, and Sanders says he's not letting the loss derail his campaign at all.
And we are very much alive. For all of those who've been knocked down, counted out, left behind, this is your campaign.
You cannot win them all. I believe very strongly that the people of this country on Super Tuesday and after are going to support our campaign.
Now, of course, candidates are turning their attention to prepping for Super Tuesday coming up. A billionaire Tom Steyer came out in third last night in the primary, and that caused him to decide to drop out of the race. Steyer made that announcement shortly after the polls closed in South Carolina. He'd staked much of his campaign's hopes on a strong finish. You've seen his commercials on our air here. He told supporters that there was no path forward.
But I said if I didn't see a path to winning, that I'd suspend my campaign. And honestly, I can't see a path where I can win the presidency.
The California billionaire spent about $158 million on TV and radio ads, including $21 million right there in South Carolina. Rodeo Houston starts Tuesday, and today crews will spend the day dismantling the mini tent city that was packed for the weekend for the World Championship Barbecue Contest. More than 250 teams fired up their grills and smokers for that competition. There's no real telling how much food was cooked or consumed, but we can say it was a lot. In the end, the overall grand champion was Fayette County, who have won a big trophy and bragging rights for their great food. Besides NASA and the Texas Medical Center, Houston is known for, among other things, being the home of some of the biggest oil companies and refineries. So coming up, the big event happening this week that could affect the price of crude and stocks. Plus, it was an FBI investigation that stunned many parents and staff at Houston ISD. Coming up, when the school board is scheduled to meet for the first time since agents were seen at district headquarters.
Channel 2 News.
Welcome back. This morning we're looking forward to what's happening this week, including the first day of Rodeo Houston. But we begin with the start of an important trial over something that happened during our flooding disaster in 2017. Monday is the first day of testimony in what's expected to be a 6-week trial of former Arkema chemical plant executives. Jurors will decide whether they were victims of Hurricane Harvey or if they were criminally reckless. Tuesday is Super Tuesday, when voters in more than a dozen states, including Texas, will vote for their favorite candidate for president. Bernie Sanders currently leads fellow Democrats in the Lone Star State. Tuesday is also the first day of Rodeo Houston, with country music band Midland on opening night. On Wednesday, opening statements are expected in the murder trial of real estate heir Robert Durst, a trial that's expected to last 5 months. Also Wednesday, the HISD School Board will hold its first meeting since the FBI and other federal officials were seen at the administration building and the home of HISD's chief operating officer. Oil production will be in focus at the OPEC Plus meeting that begins in Vienna on Thursday. Participating countries will discuss deeper cuts to output. This comes as oil prices have tumbled to a one-year low on worries of depressed global demand from the coronavirus outbreak. Friday, we'll get the jobs report for February. January's report showed a strong labor market with 225,000 jobs created. The unemployment rate was 3.6%. And of course, this week, Americans, especially investors, will be watching the markets very closely after last week's sharp sell-off triggered by the spread of the coronavirus. The plunge in stocks left investors unnerved and pushed the 3 major indexes into a correction. Dogs are simply amazing, as we know, and this morning we've got a little more proof. Coming up, a look at the disease the dogs are now being trained to find among a field of plants, some of which you may have in your backyard. And we want to let you know about our new traffic page at click2houston.com called What's Driving Houston. It includes traffic times and maps that update every 10 minutes to help you plan that commute. You can visit our page going to click2houston.com/traffic.
Or dealer.
Dogs in Florida are being trained to find a disease that's destroying citrus trees in hopes of keeping it from spreading. Much like finding drugs or explosives, dogs can detect the citrus greening disease because of their keen sense of smell. Not many dogs have been trained to do this, and it can be tough work.
You're hiding like an infected plant among 50 or 100 uninfected plants. Big shell game until the dog learns that it can pick it up.
It's estimated about 70% of Florida's industry has been destroyed by the citrus greening disease. That is remarkable.
Yeah, and he looks really excited to do his work.
Yeah, he's excited to get a treat.
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever you need. Hey, I'm almost that way when I go to my Click2 pins. I say, what's coming up next? What's coming up next? And Psycho Granny never disappoints. This is a sunset from yesterday. Beautiful shot there, isn't it? And then by the time the sun went down, guess what? Beautiful shot of the moon. That's in Columbus before the clouds moved in.
Wow.
So really good day for those Click 2 pins. Thank you for that. Here's normally highs about 69 degrees. We think the temperatures today are going to be a lot warmer than that. Well short of the records, but certainly 75 at Bush, 74 at Hobby. Galveston's at 71 degrees. Temperatures are a lot warmer than they were yesterday. 14, 15 degrees warmer at Liberty and Hobby, 22 in Angleton, 17 and 19 degrees warmer now than it was this time yesterday. We're in the mid to upper 60s. Everybody's in that category with that south wind. We're going to see that south wind sticking around as well, 15, 12, 13 miles per hour. All of that because of the high pressure that's off to the east of us, and the flow around that high is bringing that warm flow in, and that's going to be the case for the next couple of days. In fact, we have the brisk winds now. Once those winds die down, we have a very good chance for sea fog developing over the next several days. But right now, we're looking at all of this going up toward the north. All of this is going to be part of our rain-making mechanism going into Tuesday and Wednesday. We do have the Pacific flow in the upper levels of the atmosphere. It's going to keep us warm. We're not going to have any cold weather. I was telling my Facebook friends earlier that if we had this flow coming from the north, the jet coming from the north, then we would be in trouble with some colder air, but that's not going to happen. So let's look at the Futurecast model here. It's got the clouds here right now, and look what's happening over here to the west. Lots of snow in the Rockies, but all of that is set up to come into our area. Going into Monday and Tuesday, we have slight rain chances. This is the heavier stuff that's going to be happening here. Look at that. They've got some cold air down in the south there, but what we're going to see going forward is it's not going to be cold. It's going to be just rain and some storms there on Wednesday, especially a broad area. Notice this is the most active area just to the north of Houston. We'll keep an eye on just how much that's going to impact us, but throughout the day on Wednesday, it's going to stick around pretty much all day long, so just be ready for that. The rain amounts, not very much before Tuesday, but by the time we get through Wednesday, anywhere from 2 to 3 inches in those areas to the north of us, and of course that could change as well. Exact track radar is mostly just cloudy conditions. This is the area where severe weather would be for tomorrow, not much of a chance for us, and then going into Tuesday, a higher chance, and I bet on Wednesday it's going to be even more. 75 degrees for us today with a 20% chance of rain, and over the next 10 days, you notice the rain chances go down, are about 20% chance for us for today and tomorrow, going up going into Tuesday and Wednesday, but through the rest of the week, it looks like it's going to be a pretty nice week going forward as we go to daylight saving time. Coming up this morning on Houston Newsmakers, how much will a mask protect you from getting the coronavirus? It's a question many people have been asking.
There's no science that shows that a person walking around in public wearing a mask is protected from a virus, and that's for a couple of reasons. One is probably the risk that they're exposed to is pretty low to begin with, but secondarily, when you wear a mask, you tend to touch your face more.
Dr. David Pearce from Houston Public Health on the mask myth and much more, and where to find the best and most accurate coronavirus information. We're coming up at 10:30.
The mask myth and much more coming up in a couple hours. Thanks, Cambrell. The Houston Humane Society is where many people adopt dogs and cats in need of a new home, but the Humane Society has other animals too. Take a look. The story behind this beautiful rabbit named Champion and how you can make it a part of your family.
Channel 2's pet project right now, and that's a funny looking dog. Katie Fine from the Houston Humane Society is here with not a dog, but Champion, the rabbit.
The rabbit.
This is unusual, but you collect all kinds. Humane Society does great work, by the way, and sometimes they're called out to these places where they have just animals all over the place.
Yeah.
And this is where Champion came from.
Yeah, so back in December on Christmas Eve, there was actually a call to a domestic violence situation, and when they got there, they found 67 rabbits living in one garage.
Oh my.
Most of them were in like nasty rusted kennels, like living in their own, you know, filth. And so obviously they all got seized and came to us. Yeah, there's a good picture. And now we have almost 40. We have just under 40 that are like nursed back to health and ready to get adopted. So Champion is here to convince you all.
And he's got some beautiful pink eyes. Is that kind of unique to this particular breed?
Yeah, so this breed is a Californian rabbit. And so I'm not an expert on rabbits, but I know that these white rabbits have red eyes. I don't think all rabbits have red eyes.
Got it.
And he's super sweet, even though he has demonic eyes.
And he's just laid back. I think we talked about that. Rabbits just kind of hang out. They just kind of. But so what's the care? What kind of things do you have to do if you have a rabbit?
Well, one of the most important things is they do require some maintenance. So they need like their living quarters to be cleaned. They need like clean water. They have a special kind of food that they need to eat. It's not just like rabbit pellets. They need fresh vegetables. You know, it's important to note that rabbits live almost as long, if not longer, than some dogs. So they're still like a lifetime commitment of around 8 years. And they're extremely fragile. So they can actually break their own backs if they struggle too hard when you try to pick them up. So you have to be very careful. So it's just something to note if you have kids in your family. Maybe they're not the best starter pet, but they make great pets.
Yeah, they are very unique, and their ears are very inviting. But you never want to pick an animal up by the ears.
No,
I remember a long time ago, President Johnson did that with one of his beagles, and he got all kind of heck about that. That was a long time ago. But that's old school. That's for you old timers out there.
Yeah,
I noticed he sheds a lot too. Is that kind of unique to rabbits? Do they all rabbits shed like that?
I don't think they all shed as bad as he is.
Right.
But I'm not going to make any promises.
Okay, but for the most part, they need space. They need space, but they're not the kind of animal you let just roam the house.
I mean, you can litter box train them.
Okay, good.
So you can let them roam the house.
Who knew?
But you know, they do poop a lot. So.
Oh my. Okay. Well, you got a litter box train them, then that's for sure.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's going to be a mess.
All right, Katie. Thank you so much. Champion is available today. Houston Humane Society from 11 to 5:30, 14700 Alameda Road in Southwest Houston. You can see animals in need of a family on our website. Look at that cutie. Oh, our Adopt a Pet section on click2houston.com under the consumer tab. Cuties all over, but Champion is the cutie of today. You want to go by and see if you can pick him up, or 39 other rabbits that are available today. Katie, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And we'll be right back after this.